Hey everyone, and welcome back to Comic Studio. But sorry I'm extremely lately for getting a little bit of long time for this thing as well, because I was exactly for a disappointment for starting work about pretty much as well. But I'm not gonna be thinking that why that sometimes that Antonblast Comic Studio was being removed, and the good news is Antonblast is back on track. And I never believed it that was since released last year, and I wouldn't believe this is absolutely about a year ago for this game, and I'm possibly not gonna be very sure. I wasn't gonna be interested about for this game as well. I have seen around a couple of internet videos, and it was a little bit cool, but being referenced to Pizza Tower wasn't going to be that way. This is related to the Pizza Tower reference. So, I'm about to find for one of those, some kind of like this, pretty underrated as well, and certainly clone of Antonblast Comic Studios that we're going to be seeing around of those comic creators around here, as we're going to be about to search for studio crossovers. And first off, we're absolutely on the studio crossovers yet that we're not gonna be choosing you this thing anywhere as well in Comic Creator or in this Comic Studio for around the platform, including for website searches. Like anything it goes to search like any type that you want as well. And now am I going to be type Anton, and probably this is actually this thing as well. So I'm probably here that I just completely searched from those submitted sprites or the studio crossovers inside Interland Comic Studio. Probably you might gotta be remember this thing as well. But things are might going to be forgotten by Microsoft Edge, which is not pretty cool as well. So I might gotta be find out what is going on for this thing as well. And we're going to be started around here and then possibly here as well. So we're going to be started off with this thing as the definition Anton Comic Studio, which is absolutely one of the sprites as well that we found as well. That thing couldn't be actually that we'll find absolutely this thing. It was owned by Summit Spear and credited to making for an Anton Ball. The Anton Ball could be for one thing. It's not gonna be one reason for such as all of it as well. Nothing similarly to the original game as the most angriest person of them all. I wouldn't be able to be figured it out because that is absolutely maintained and probably created. This comic creator could be the user will be Sonic Pikafy, the rat and the Ratster. Yep, probably going to be only one thing as well. So, this one character is from the Anton Ball. There must be the base, there's Cowboy, and the extra sprites for just a little bit another one as well. So, this is pretty similar for a little bit as well as copying Mario reference. And there must be for another version with Wild West. And then there must be extra things or the extra sprites. And that was a little bit pretty crazy as well. First off, he was a destruction worker. And I wouldn't be able to be seeing this as well as I previewing with this. I reviewed the character for only one reason. As I scroll down, this is absolutely pretty insane. And I'm pretty sure that wasn't gonna be pretty junk as well. Even that I just seen that looked like this as of the reference of The Simpsons. Next one is the Antonblast, and which is gonna be pretty last as well. The Anton Ball was actually for a little bit original as well. That was not pretty similar like this thing as well, but related to Mario, Super Mario Bros. Or the Super Mario World. And it's probably from Nintendo like anything as well. So another one could be from any of those things. Another closer friend is Annie, but probably that must be Anton. And I'm pretty sure this character was actually playable as well, that I just seen, and it looked like for some kind of Pizza Tower reference. Pretty ridiculous as well. And another one is from the bosses as well. The small buster could be for some sort of bosses. I wouldn't explain that turned into some kind of ridiculously wild as hell, and I'm not pretty sure this isn't going to be for such a thing as well. So we're starting around with this thing as well. The first thing, it was probably playable, and this is actually for the demo version. And I wasn't able to be saved for this a little bit weird stuff. And crazy weird as hell. So another one is the Anton Miscallion. And it wasn't existed a little bit for just a little bit much. So everything is no sprites, including all of them, for besides like this thing. So let's move on to the next one that we're going to be seeing this out. Oh my gosh, that was a little bit for some kind of weird, and probably how bizarre is this comic creator? As we turn on the spoilers on, and it was created by the Ghostly Leap or the Ghost Leap X. That's him, and I started this comic creator. The Sugar Fan 13 follow him, or else corrosion will destroy our house. Probably this thing isn't going to be such as like this as well. It was probably owned by for some sort of an unknown software, and it was called Summit Spear. It's owned by Summit Spear for some sort of, that wasn't like the copy of those things. It was a knockoff of Comic Studio, but I wouldn't be able to be finding out that I never be able to be solving this thing as well for the acceptance as well. As you look at this title as well, it was the corrosion bust. That was a little bit weird, and probably that was a little bit of a weird game, but this game wasn't actually probably from the existence, and which is actually going to be for around here. But like those things, such as Anton, Annie, the Crystal Man, and what's that? I'm not pretty sure this isn't going to be for such as this thing as well. We're starting off with this angry man. One ridiculous thing as well. And this is actually the boss from the Antonblast. And what is this? Corrupted version of this that called it Hotine. I'm not sure that Dynamite Anton could be like as well. So even another one could be for round. That must be graffiti art, and which is actually for this thing as well. That must be probably available sprites such as Burrito and the Living Bomb, and which is actually concludes like this, which is actually for this one. And I wasn't supposed to add for this thing as well. And probably sure that we're going to be added something a little bit for one itself. I might gonna be added a little bit for this time. That wasn't gonna be a pretty turns out we added some kind of characters like Kukiran and Puyo characters from even for these times as well. Even for that, we added a little bit for this thing as one. As for Anton, Dynamite Anton breaks into his property. I'm not pretty sure they must be going to be send them out as well. I'm pretty sure that Seijo, and I'm not pretty sure to do this as well, that we're probably saying for this thing as well. So, I'll probably find ourselves for the research, and which means Feli and Seijo have finally sent out of his property. No, that's not gonna be his property as well. This should be for their house as well, or wasn't going to be as probably that I just wish to be saying this. and that must be skateboarding run on the factory as well. But I don't really think that Timekeeper Cookie is watching them on, and probably going to be sent back in time before they're going to be skating into the factory. But absolutely, we added graffiti like this thing as well. It was the vandalized version around for Croton, which means Dynamite Anton as well. And I couldn't believe that I'm absolutely saying this, that people stare at the graffiti thing as well, or the graffiti painting like this, that such as Amite, Ringo, and Ali have just completely seen this graffiti thing that I just never expected, without Taco as well. She didn't supposed to be for a taco that she was eating as well. I'm not pretty sure that it was strewn by the bottom of something as well. So before we get to the end of this video, that was probably it for a round of those things. The two links are going to be in the description below. And the good news is, the Antonblast comic studio is finally back. And we just completely restored a bunch of sprites and restored for some kind of progress. And anything is actually that I just completely restored some kind of stuff as well. Even we added Zombie Cookie, the Matcha Cookie, Angel Cookie, and that must be Stan, Skater Cookie, Devil Cookie, and Snow Sugar Cookie. And 2 cookies run away from that, like the Hex bot. It could be pretty as possible. That must be Stickmans, and some kinds of gunships over here. And that must be a jet from Pixar Cars that I just completely seen around here from the movie film since Los Angeles International Speedway. And that must be a Strider on the junkyard. And probably that it was it for today as well, as I might going to be see you in another video for this thing as well. Don't forget that is going to be into the description down below. 3 descriptions for around here. 3 links are going to be in description right now, including for the main website, before sometimes they might going to be taking down from another one. In case that something is going to be taking down again, that wouldn't be easy to find something out as well. So this isn't going to be for such as revenge, and that means we're not going to be able to be talking about for this too much. Thanks again, and I'll be see you next time, including for around here, such as Mini Lads, Comic Studio users, and fellow viewers all later. And I'll be see you next time, and have a nice day. Thanks for watching.